All right, everyone. Today we're going to set aside our usual way of looking at things and analyze a different kind of historical document. It's a philosophical framework that's built on mathematical patterns. We're going to deconstruct the numerology of 999, but not as a belief system to be adopted. No, we're going to examine it like any other system of thought, looking at its internal logic and its structure. So, let's dive in.
Now, let's just get this out of the way. I know what you're probably thinking. You hear the word numerology, and your mind immediately goes to social media trends, right? All that stuff about manifesting your best life or cosmic energy portals. And look, there's a ton of that out there, but frankly, it usually misses the point and covers up a much older, much more structured philosophical conversation.
So let's draw a very clear line in the sand. We are not going to be talking about the surface-level internet hype. We're going deeper to the philosophical roots of these ideas. We're talking about concepts pulled from Buddhist ontology, things like karmic cycles, and a fascinating concept called sankhara. The best way to think about this as a lesson in the history of an idea, not as a course in mysticism.
To really get a handle on this entire framework, we have to start with a surprisingly simple and, I think, kind of elegant mathematical idea that underpins everything. It's called the principle of return.
Okay, so look at this number. It looks like total chaos, just a random string of digits. But the principle of return says you can take any number, it doesn't matter how long or complicated it seems, and you just start adding the individual digits together.
And you keep doing that with the result, over and over, until it always, and I mean always, boils down to a single digit. This process, this collapsing of complexity, back to ultimate simplicity, that is the principle of return. And you have to remember this, because it's absolutely central to the logic we're about to explore. Okay, so we have this mathematical idea. Now let's map it onto a philosophical one. In Buddhist thought, there's this term sankhara. It's a heavy word, I know, but you can think of it as the sum total of all your mental and emotional baggage. It's every habit, every identity, every pattern, every karmic imprint you've ever accumulated. It's basically the whole story of you.
And this is where the number 9 comes in. Within this system, 9 isn't just a number, it's a powerful metaphor. It represents the point where that accumulation, that sankhara, is completely full. The pattern has played itself out. The story has reached its final chapter. There's literally nowhere else for it to go. So let's apply this theory and look at a specific case study from the source material. September 9th, 2025. This state is seen as a triple 9. Why? Well, it's the 9th day of the 9th month of a year, 2025, that when you add its digits together, 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5 equals 9.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. The central argument here is that this date wasn't supposed to be some big, noisy, cataclysmic event. The claim is that the most profound transitions, the ones that really matter, are actually quiet. They're these silent, structural shifts that happen in the background, almost like a software update running while you're asleep. It's the closing of a door to an old way of being. And you can see that transition laid out perfectly here. September 9th represents the mathematical point of total exhaustion. The 9-year cycle is complete, it's run out of road. And then what happens? The very next day, September 10th, the entire system resets. It clicks over to a 1 cycle, a new beginning.
But, and this is a really big but, this is where the analysis gets truly sharp. Because that's transition into the 1 cycle, this supposed new start, comes with a really profound and subtle warning. It is absolutely not the simple, clean slate you might think it is.
I mean, the math is straightforward. You take September 10th, 2025, you add all those digits up, and what do you get? You get a 1. And of course, 1 is the number of beginnings, right? It's new potential. It's the first step. It's the deep inhale after the final exhale of the 9. But here is the trap. This quote just nails it. The danger, according to this framework, is that most people take that fresh, new 1 energy and they just use it to rebuild the exact same prison they were in before. They don't actually escape, they just, put up some new spiritual wallpaper. So the most critical takeaway here is that the opportunity for real change doesn't come from working harder inside the news cycle. It's not about finding a new method, we're trying to do more. The real shift is from method to wisdom. It's about having the simple, clear insight to see the cycle as a cycle. So if the start of a new cycle doesn't automatically set you free, then what's the point? What's the actual invitation at the end of a 9 cycle? It's an invitation to make a shift in perspective. A shift from constantly running on the hamster wheel to just stopping and seeing the wheel itself.
I think this analogy is just brilliant. The 9 energy doesn't stop the play of life. The show goes on. But what it does do is act like someone suddenly turned the house lights all the way up in the middle of a performance. You can still see the play, but now you can also see the flimsy sets, the dusty curtains, the stagehands and the wings. The illusion gets a lot harder to believe in.
And that is the absolute key. This opportunity, this gate they talk about, it's not for the people who want to be better actors in the play. It's for the people who are just fundamentally tired of the performance. It's for those who are exhausted by the whole fabrication.
Which leaves us with this final, kind of provocative thought to chew on. We spend so much of our lives in this relentless pursuit of self-improvement, of perfecting our little corner of the world. But what if we've missed the entire point? What if the goal was never to build a more beautiful, more perfect illusion to live in, but just to finally get the clarity to see it for what it is? So if this kind of structural analysis piqued your interest and you want to explore the source material for yourself, including something called the Site Clearing Protocol, you can find it all from Beyond the Illusion. We've put the link right there for you in the description. Thanks for your attention.